Going to the top of the 6th inning with the Yankees leading the Tampa Bay Devil Rays by a score of 3-0. And how about this? Don't want to miss the last game of the regular season. The Yankees close out their set against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays on Sunday, September 27th at 1:30. Sunday the 27th is Fan Appreciation Day. The Yankees will honor Joe DiMaggio. It's in a special ceremony. Compliments of the New York Times. Tickets are available now at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the Yankee Clubhouse stores, and on the web at www.yankees.com.
You did that very well. www.yankees.com.
Thank all my teachers. I can read. There's the plaque out in Monument Park. Joe DiMaggio, Joe D, will be honored here tomorrow before the game. Should be quite an afternoon. Weather's supposed to be great as the Yankees close out the regular season. David Cohn working to Aaron Ledesma. And the first pitch at the top of the 6th inning is over the outside corner for strike one. Ledesma 0 for 2 today, but has a 12-game hitting streak going. And that's one reason why his average is over 300.
Right. Ledesma's done a terrific job here. This is a guy who has been around, came up with the Mets, played with Baltimore for a while, ended up here in Tampa Bay, has played, can play a little second, has played third, has played short.
Been very steady with the glove. But another fastball painted over the outside corner for call strike 2. David Cohn using all his pitches very well in a tune-up.
He's ready.
Yeah, he is ready. If he throws like this in the upcoming division series, he'll be very tough to handle. There it is, called strike 3. 3 fastballs on the outside corner. Ledesma is headed back to the dugout.
And I think, Kenny, don't you, that this is always a very good sign when David Cohn is using that fastball like that. Because you can get very compact with your delivery and not use an awful lot of pitches. There's that fastball right on the outside part of the plate, just has Ledesma fooled.
And it's got a lot of pop on it today. Not only spotted well, but also has some velocity. Bobby Smith, the next hitter, has grounded out and walked 0 for 1.
Bobby Smith playing today. Boggs has pains in his knees today, so you won't see him probably either today or tomorrow. Bobby Smith, the third baseman really of the future down there.
That'll move the count to a ball and a strike. There's a look at the veteran.
A kind of a tough year for Boggs. I think he thought at the beginning of the year that this last week of the season had things worked out better for him. They ended up in Boston before they came here. Maybe he could have gotten his 200th hit either in Boston or here in New York. But then the stint on the DL in April ended that. So he's at 2,922, and if Wade's going to get to 3,000, it'll have to be next year.
Smith fouls another pitch off. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're going to look at our New York Marriott Marquee matchup. Terrell Wade has worked 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, 3 runs. He's struck out 1, hasn't walked anybody. That's good. David Cohn, 5 1/3, 3 hits, no runs, 6 strikeouts, and just 1 lone walk that came to Bobby Smith in his last at bat.
And the best thing about this, at the end of 5, he had only thrown 75 pitches.
Thought that was a strike, but instead the count goes full at 3-2. Payoff pitch is on the way to Bobby Smith. Swings and misses strike 3. Got him. Strikeout number 7. Once again, the lively fastball.
You're going to see he's going to come upstairs with this fastball. There's nothing harder to hit when he's really working is that high fastball, and he has no shot at that.
Here's a good overhead look at it.
Right on the outside part of the plate, totally had him.
And you notice when Girardi was set up, that's exactly where the ball went. So it shows you not only spotting the ball well, there's a 7 Ks for David Cohn. Those two work so well together, Girardi and David Cohn. Fred McGriff will be the hitter. 2 outs, nobody on the 6th.
Well, why David Cohn is so difficult to catch and why Girardi is so brilliant at this, you could put down the 1 for a fastball, but it could come from 7 different angles and could do 30 different things, and it's still a fastball. They really do work well together.
Ground ball to second, should be an easy inning. McGriff is thrown out by Knobloch, and David Cohn has sent down the Devil Rays here at the top of the 6th. Nothing across for Tampa. Yankees lead 3-0.
www.yankees.com.
Hey,
Yankee fans. Capture the Yankees online at Yankees.com. Chat with your favorite player. Listen to the game while you check out stats. Pull up Yankee history. You can even buy tickets at Yankees.com. And Yankee fans, click onto the Yankee shop and purchase official Yankees merchandise. Adidas t-shirts, new era fitted hats, and batting practice jerseys. So go to Yankees.com, the internet home of the New York Yankees.
Yankees.com! Yankees win!
They look unstoppable.
Hit deep to right. A grand slam home run for Bernie Williams.
The Yanks wrap up the regular season against the Devil Rays at the New York City Marriott Scorecard tomorrow on MSG.
On a beautiful day in the Bronx, here's a look at the National Finance Corporation SkyCam. National Finance Corporation homeowners, lower your monthly payments. Apply by phone at 1-800-LOAN-NFC. Ken Singleton and Susan Waldman on it. As I mentioned, a beautiful day here in the Bronx. Tomorrow afternoon should be fine too when the Yankees close out the regular season. They lead 3-0. At the bottom of the 6th inning, we're going to see Bernie Williams, Tino Martinez, and Chili Davis. And there is Bernie, who thus far today is 0 for 2 against Terrell Wade, has popped up and flied out. Last night, Susan, Bernie hit left-handed against the knuckleballer Dennis Springer, while in Boston a few weeks ago he hit right-handed off of Tim Wakefield. Yeah, and I asked him about it today, and he had some interesting things to say. He said, well, I just see the ball better against Springer as a knuckleballer batting left-handed, so I hit left against him. And Wakefield, he doesn't see it as well left-handed,
right.
So I hit right-handed. So.
And in Sparks in L.A., after he had hit right-handed against Wakefield, he tried it against Sparks, and he said, this isn't working, and turned around.
So here's Bernie.
And don't forget, Mo Vaughn was 1 for 3 this afternoon at 3:36 now.
And Bernie with the 0 for 2 is hitting .335. 26 home runs, 96 runs batted in. Bernie this year has had 3 hits or more in a game 22 times. That's the most in the American League. That's pitched down low. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's David Cohen between innings, putting the jacket on. Now here's Joe Girardi coming over for a little conversation about the last inning, how things are going.
Now there's somebody he doesn't want to see. It's Mel Stottlemyre right there.
Bernie swings, bouncing ball, backhanded by Smith. Fair ball. Bernie hustling down the line. The throw and the tag, and Bernie's out of there. Nice play by Bobby Smith. And the first baseman, Paul Sorrento, on the other side. And Bernie Williams is now 0 for 3.
And that's a very good play by Bobby Smith, and that's one of the things they like about him is his range. This is not a great throw, bounces it, but at first base, nice play made by Sorrento. Didn't Smith come up as a second baseman, actually?
I think it maybe is a shortstop, too. But we're looking at Sorrento at first, who dug that ball out of the dirt. Hasn't played all that much first base this year. Tino swings through a breaking ball and misses strike 1. 28th home run of the year for Tino Martinez. That came in the 4th inning.
You know, we were talking about before, Kenny, don't you think that Tino this year is going into the playoffs on an upswing as opposed to the last 2 years where he was kind of on a downswing and had a tough September and tough playoffs? He really looks like he's ready right now, is locked in, gets this high fastball from Terrell Wade and just smacks it into the right field bleachers.
Swing on a breaking ball. The count is 1-2. That was right in Tino's happy zone. Every hitter has one. And it's that high fastball or breaking ball out over the plate that seems to disappear every time he takes a swing at it. Tino picked up his 123rd RBI of the season on the homer. Swings through another breaking ball. Terrell Wade goes with these sliders and strikes Tino Martinez out. For Wade, it will be his 3rd strikeout of the afternoon.
After staying with fastballs, the breaking pitch down and away from Tino Martinez. Tino looking at the ball. Look at him look at the, like, where did that go? Where did that end up?
Well, sometimes you feel like you're right on it, and when you go to swing, does a Houdini act.
But I think overall it's been a very positive September for Tino Martinez, and it's got to make him feel much more confident than last year. Someone else who's got to feel a lot more confident is Chili Davis.
Fly down the left field line fairly deep. Trammell will not be able to get to it. It bounds off the wall for extra bases. Chili Davis to second with the double, will turn and hold on with a 2-base hit. He thought about third. And it looks like Trammell might have drabbed an ankle out there. Yeah, it's a tough field out there, left field in the late season.
Now, interestingly enough, Trammell's put out there because Randy Wynn, the kid, has really hit the wall, and Rothschild didn't want him to end the season on a bad note. And Bubba goes down, and really, look, he looks like he doesn't see where the wall is and slides so that he doesn't run into it, then has trouble getting up. He could have hit that ankle, Kenny, on that wall. Yeah, right there on the 318 side. It's underneath that sign. He's having a very tough afternoon.
We're going to have a pinch runner for Chili Davis as Chili leaves the ball game 2 for 3 on the afternoon. It's going to be the speedy Homer Bush. And today's game is going back to St. Louis. And of course, Homer Bush, a native of East St. Louis, Illinois, as we see Chili Davis getting congratulations, and manager Larry Rothschild out to the mound. That's going to be it. As Terrell Wade, who's coming off shoulder surgery, will give way to a new pitcher coming out of the bullpen. So we'll be back with more action in just a moment. 2 outs, bottom of the 6th. Yankees with a man at second, and they lead it 3-0. Now, how about this? The Sunday Daily News presents the greatest Yankees moments ever. That'll be a 24-page collector's edition, pull-out section. Special section was developed with the input of the area fans who were polled to ask to share their favorite moments in New York Yankee history. Get yours in tomorrow's Daily News.
Okay,
that should be very special. And a familiar face, that's Jim Messier, who will come out of the Devil Ray bullpen as Wade talking with Rick Williams, the pitching coach. And you know, for Wade, you would think that with that shoulder surgery and coming back, this is only his second start of the season in the major leagues, that getting into the 6th inning is just something in itself. You look at the numbers on Messier.
Yeah, Wade wants to be able to come back and be part of this rotation next year. Came up with the Brave organization. Jim Messier's done a very good job for this team.
75 strikeouts in 82 2/3 innings, only 67 hits. I used to love Jeter, but Shane sweeter.
Oh, look at that. Young love. Isn't that great? Oh, they're so fickle.
Here is Shane, maybe a little sweeter now after the home run, his 9th of the season.
And unless something really strange happens, welcome to the postseason, yeah. Shane Spencer.
Messier has that screwball. This is a tailing fastball inside for ball 1.
That's why he's been so effective and why people always take a chance on him, because he can get lefties and righties out with that screwball, the way he pitches.
That's going to catch the corner, in for a strike. Shane Spencer, of course, was using Chuck Knobloch's bats. Chuck Knobloch loaned him a bat. He's been hot ever since.
Right.
Hasn't broken many of them. Fastball in, swings through it, strike 2, a ball and 2 strikes.
Now, Kenny, what about as a slugger as you were? What about the way Shane Spencer, look at that batting stance. He's very, very still. This has got to help him in the long run, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, a compact, short, compact swing. Mine wasn't that compact, but anything in, he's very quick on. Anything away, he can wait on. They're going to try and jam him just to see if he can turn on something quickly.
Well, one of the things you like with a young kid, and of course here's that great at bat in the 3rd inning, that is out over the plate, and he does pull that. That went a long way on the changeup and hits that back wall in the bullpen. That was some shot.
That's not as far as he hit one the other night here.
Well, the longest one I ever saw was George Bell's off the ambulance. And I know Buhner hit one out there, but Bell's went further.
Swing and a miss, and Spencer has struck out. So a double for Chili Davis. The Yankees do not score here in the bottom of the 6th inning, but they have the lead as we head to the 7th. Fans, New York Yankee baseball is brought to you in part by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz. Well, we're headed to the top of the 7th inning.
It's something I've always wanted. The 2 of you.
3-0 as we head to the 7th inning. And so far, Kenny and Susan, David Cohn's looked very, very sharp.
Think he's ready?
Oh, I think this is as sharp as he's been in a long time. And I think what what Mel Stoudemire and Joe Torre did with him is really beneficial. He's working on the 6th day. They backed him up a couple of days each start. You know, and after you've had surgery and so forth, that's not a bad idea.
Bubba Trammell lifts the pop-up to the right side. It's going to be Luis Sojo down first base who makes the play. Soho taking over for Tino Martinez, and there's one down.
And have you noticed, guys, that every time that they've backed Cone up, at least on 6th day, also with Arabu, always pitches better, the both of them.
That's Curtis in left field. Prior to that, you saw Shane Spencer out in right field. Paul O'Neill's out of the game. So the Yankees making some defensive changes here in the 7th. The hitter is the veteran Paul Sorrento. So David Cone. Pitch count somewhere around 100, maybe 110. Sorrento check swing, little looper over the head of Jeter and into left field for a base hit. That's what they call a Steve Martin base hit. Excuse me.
Tried to hold up and couldn't do it.
He'll take it, though. You see the smile on his face, so he's on with one down.
This has not been a good year for Sorrento. He's not had a good year, batting .225. Tried to check that swing, but he'll take it at this point.
You know, maybe it's a sign of better things to come for him. And I'm sure he's hoping so. So he's at first with one down. And Rich Butler, the right fielder, comes to the plate.
Also not having the kind of year they thought he was going to have. Had great minor league numbers in Toronto.
Well, you look at their offense, and it's just not there. Pitches inside for a ball.
It's a good kind of team to tune up against, because even though they don't have good hitters, I mean, they are big league hitters. And for David Cone, just to have confidence in all of his pitches going into a start against will probably be the Rangers next Friday night. I don't care who you're pitching against. If you just get outs and you feel good about your stuff, that's all you can ask for.
Heard Cone after the last start saying, well, if I couldn't get my 20th win twice around, maybe I don't deserve to get it. But I'm sure he feels a lot better about himself today.
Strike 2 on Butler. Now we know that Jim Brucey's going to start the final game of the season for the Yankees tomorrow, but Larry Rothschild
he has no idea what's going on.
He doesn't know who's going to pitch tomorrow. Or he might have an inkling.
I'm sure he has an inkling. He said, I'm out of major league pitchers.
We talked about Larry's career the other night briefly with the Tigers in 81 and 82. 7+ innings. He only struck out one guy, and that guy's one of the more difficult players to strike out, former teammate of Kenny's.
Butler's gone. David Cone with 8 strikeouts.
Well, he's used the slider, the splitter particularly against the lefties, and anytime you see the ball break down and away from a lefty, chances are that's the splitter. That's what that was.
Kitty, how much better is it for Cone when he can spot the fastball the way he's done this afternoon?
Well, every pitcher, no matter whether you're a hard thrower or not, everything works off the fastball. If you don't have control of your fastball and you don't have a good one, then you're not going to get by with just breaking pitch, because you can't throw 120 of them a game.
Then for Cone, when you're trying to be that economical, if you're being so good with that fastball, then it saves on pitches.
This is Miguel Cairo. The Devil Rays have 4 hits in the game. Cairo has 2 of them. Maybe it's a split grip. Maybe the other Devil Rays will be hitting like him next year. Jam, and it's fouled back. You mentioned that Larry Rothschild only had 1 strikeout in limited action for the Tigers, as it's Ramiro Mendoza warming up in the bullpen. And Rothschild walked 6 in 8 2/3 innings and struck out 1 man, and it was Rich Dower. Now, it's very ironic that it was Rich Dower, because as Kitty said, he's very tough to strike out. He's the only player that Nolan Ryan faced 10 times and never struck out. Check swing by Cairo and fouls it back, so the count is 1-2. And Rich Dower had a propensity for hitting into double plays. One day, after about 4 and 2 days, Earl Weaver was waiting for him at the top step of the dugout and says, why don't you just strike out one time instead of hitting into double plays? That's Richie made contact. 1-2 pitch on Cairo, and he lifts a high pop-up. Derek Jeter settles underneath it at short. And he has it, and the Devil Rays are gone here at the top of the 7th inning. So David Cone got the job done through 7 innings. He's been tough. We head to the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium.
If you're a New York pro football fan, MSG has the show that does it all. Fossils Giants and Parcells Jets are looking to soar to new heights. Catch another great season of the Sharp Jets Giants Report Monday night on MSG.
Bottom of the 7th inning. Yankees leading 3-0. And tomorrow, final game of the season, the Yankees close it out at 1:30 against the Devil Rays, and they honored Joe DiMaggio in a special ceremony, compliments of the New York Times. Tickets are available now at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the Yankee Clubhouse stores, and of course on the web at www.yankees.com. Jim Messier to Scott Brosius, and the count is a ball and a strike. Ken Singleton along with Susan Waldman and Kitty Cott.
This guy's had a nice year, Jim Messier, the ex-Yankee. They say his fastball's up in the low 90s. Got that good scroogey.
Gonna be a tough play. Bounces off the mound, comes up with it, throws. Nice play by Messier. 1-3 on the play.
Not as graceful as you used to be,
I'll tell you what, I really admire this. This is worth another look, because here's a guy who was born with a bit of a foot problem, a foot defect, and it's a little more difficult for him to bounce off the mound. And boy, does he do a nice job. Watch how quickly he gets to it. You can see when Jim Messier does his running in a straight line that he has a little problem with his left foot.
Right now he'll face Joe Girardi, who doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Slider downstairs, ball 1.
Wild card update. Giants won at 8-4.
That's something to go into Colorado and take the first 2. Pitch is fouled off. Darryl Kyle must have been the loser for the Rockies. And he was signed to big-time money as a free agent to be the lead pitcher for the Rockies pitching staff.
And why would you sign a curveball pitcher in Colorado?
That's what I've always wanted to know. Now, if we know that, why didn't Bob Gebhardt know that?
I got to talk to Gebby about that.
Kyle 13-17 now. Looked like the pitch was fouled off by Girardi. The count is 1-2.
Now, Kitty, Messier was talking, you touched on it a minute ago. He seems to have added some velocity to that fastball. How do you do that at this stage in your career?
Well, you know, maybe the last few years in the minor leagues, maybe he's worked a lot of innings up and down in the bullpen, and he's fresher this year. I mean, I think you can add a little bit of velocity by, you know, just getting out in the outfield, throwing almost like an outfielder does.
Maybe a new pitching coach and new mechanics.
Yeah.
That's going to run the count full on Girardi. He'll be followed by Chuck Knobloch at the top of the order. Yankees leading 3-0. It appears that David Cone's day is done, and he has a chance to win number 20. That misses. Ball 4. Joe Girardi has drawn a walk, and he's aboard with 1 out. Here's David Cone
putting on that
innings.
jacket.
Yep. He's had a heck of a season.
That would be some accomplishment. 10 years between 20-game seasons, and he's back to somewhat the same power that he had in '88. I mean, he still has that great slider. I remember left-hand hitters 10 years ago talking about, I'm talking left-hand hitters now, said, man, David Cone's got the toughest slider to hit, even for a lefty.
Chuck Knobloch had a base hit his first time, and he has one right here. It's going to be 2 for 4. Girardi to second and will hold on as Rich Butler gets the ball back in quickly. So Chuck Knobloch with his second hit of the day. And the Yankees have 2 on and 1 out here at the bottom of the 7th.
And Kitty, that's what you used to see when Knobloch was in Minnesota, taking that pitch on really middle out and going the opposite way. He hasn't done that as much this year as he did in Minnesota.
He really has to get back to doing that in the postseason. He's been making too many outs in the air. That's not his game.
Derek Jeter working on a 1 for 3 afternoon, comes up with 2 men on. Yankees trying to increase a 3-0 lead. Fans getting into it. Let's go Yankees. The champ. Slider outside for a ball.
I guess Shane Spencer will be on the ticket with him.
Yeah. They get a lot of votes here in New York. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes.
So everybody's pitching rotation, and as Texas is losing today, it looks like that's all set. Wells, Pettit, Conan, El Duque, first 4 games. Stottlemyre, Helling, Seeley, and Burkett in that order for Texas.
From a hitter standpoint, Kenny, I think that's a nice matchup for the Yankees. The first 3 pitchers all pretty similar. As you see Messier's pitch to Derek Jeter. Nice slider in the outside corner. Todd Stottlemyre throws pretty hard, as does Helling.
Yeah.
Seeley's got a
good curve.
Big curveball.
Jeter fouls this one off. 2-2.
But I think the tough thing to try to destroy the hitter's timing is when you have a pitching rotation that gives you a little different look every night, and Texas doesn't have that. They get down to John Burkett, who is really an off-speed control pitcher, but the other guy's very similar, and they have no left-hand starter.
Interesting. I was talking to Rick Helling a couple of days ago, and he was talking about how Stottlemyre, when he came over here, was trying so hard to be that person to help them, and he was overthrowing and really not getting a lot of success. And then once he calmed down a little bit, because everybody knew, well, we made this trade so that you can help us get to the playoffs. And I really think Helling thinks he really just took it too much on himself instead of relaxing.
Well, they're there now.
Yes, they are.
But they can't relax. Payoff pitch, the runners are going. Jeter fouls it off. They'll do it all over.
Helling's just a terrific story. 20-game winner, won 5 games last year. He says it's just because they let him pitch.
Lucky they got him back. They drafted him and traded him away. How about Mel Stottlemyre Tuesday night? If it is Texas, he's torn between blood and a paycheck. His son will be pitching, and he's wearing a Yankee uniform. I told Mel, just put your street clothes on, go home.
Another foul by Jeter.
Watch it on TV, because that's got to be tough for him to be in the dugout knowing he's wearing the Yankee uniform, and there's his son Todd out there trying to beat the Yankees.
And Todd said the first time that he pitched, and he kept looking into the dugouts and looking for Pop. He kept saying, I kept looking in there.
No advice that night, huh? Still 3-2 on Jeter, and each time the runners have been going, so we'll expect them to be moving again. Trying to open up a hole in the infield for Jeter to shoot something through. He's 1 for 3 on the day. Spin move, throw to second. Girardi just gets back. Aaron Ledesma dropped in behind Girardi. Larry Rothschild putting on those signs.
Now that was actually a nice move by Messier, getting around that fast.
Runners go. The pitch to Jeter. Will do it again. He fouls it back. Nice little battle going here between Jim Messier and Derek Jeter.
And talking to Larry Rothschild, these are the kinds of things that you look for when you're managing an expansion team, something to build on. And he says he's very pleased with a lot of things that have happened this year. This team has been in games all the way to the 7th, 8th inning. They keep it close, but if they get behind, they just have no hitting to catch up.
Runners go again. The pitch to Jeter, bounce to the right side. Sorrento only one play, and now he's going to flip to Messier just in time to get Jeter. Looked like some indecision on that play. Remember, Sorrento hasn't played all that much first base this year. So Derek Jeter out on a very, very close play at first base. Meanwhile, the runners advance.
Derek Jeter not really sure about that. Neither is Paul Sorrento. Doesn't really know what to do there. Throws to Messier at the last minute, and it's a good call. It is a good call. Messier's foot does touch the bag before Jeter's hand.
One more look at it is hustling Jeter. In a way, you don't want to see diving into first base.
With your hand out like that now.
Well, you know, this time of the season. The Yankees looking for their 113th victory. Chad Curtis is going to come up for the first time today. He's in left field. Shane Spencer was in left, moved to right. Paul O'Neill's out of the ball game. Curtis, who ripped his 10th home run of the year the other night. Hadn't hit a home run since August 2nd. off the end of the bat and foul.
I think that had to be a big load off of his mind, guys talking to him about it. Come on, if you can get that 10th, then, you know, the whole starting lineup at one point has 10 or more home runs.
Well, not only that, in the prior at bat, he had hit a solid single to left field. And sometimes you get that one hit. Pitcher, I think it was Jason Hockamy, came inside twice on him, and he solidly hit both shots. 1-1 pitch. That's going to be to the corner, 1-2. Yankees with 2 on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 7th inning.
You remember last year when he was traded over here and was trying to pull everything and swing for the fences? Because I remember him saying he thought he was a home run hitter when he was with Anaheim and then Detroit. And Torrey talked to him about just meeting the ball and went on a little rampage there. He's got to get back to doing that.
Count levels off at 2-2. Joe Torre knows he can relax for these next few days here, and then Tuesday night gets serious all over again. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Chad Curtis misses the slider. Susan, I want to thank you very much for all your insight this season.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
See you, Susan.
Lead 3-0.
Up in the Bronx that is really out of sight. They can hit a ball from home plate all the way to Jackson Heights. Every adult, every child, all the fans are going wild. Yankee baseball, where are you?
3-0 Yankees, top of the 8th inning, and fans, you don't want to miss this one. Tune in tomorrow for our Fox Sports News Special. Baseball 98, one for the record books. The Yankees' dominance, blockbuster trades, the end of Cal's streak, nail-biting pennant races, and Big Mac and Slammin' Sammy's astounding home run totals. It's a complete look back at the magical season. Baseball 98, one for the record books. Live tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. right here on MSG.
It has been a record-setting year, hasn't it? Ramiro Mendoza will come in to get at least 1 inning's worth of work and try to preserve David Cohn's 20th victory. And we do have that Midwest audience today, our viewers from St. Louis, that may not be as familiar with what the Yankees have done this year. We referred to the all-time American League win record, 112 wins. You see the rest of Mendoza's numbers. A couple of other things, Derek Jeter and Chuck Knobloch as a tandem. The third pair of middle infielders in American League history to steal at least 30 bases. John Flaherty will step in. And the Yankees have also tied a record in terms of home runs. Popped in the air. Soho near the line. Looks like he's got it in range. Puts it away, 1 down. They've got 9 players with double-figure home runs. First team since the Cincinnati Reds, 91 Reds to do that. Who's the only man to have played for both the Florida Marlins and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays? That's our Aflac trivia quiz. And of course, Larry Rothschild, the manager of the Devil Rays, has been part of both. He was the pitching coach. But he is not the answer, because this is a player. It's like Stanton and Nelson will each get a little work in the 9th. As the Yankee bullpen has just been superb this last week, tuning up for the postseason.
What are they up to, 20 innings without a run scored against them?
Graham Lloyd, in the right part of your screen, has made a nice comeback here after having a very successful year. He had really gone downhill getting out lefties, but Joe Torre called him in and said, hey, you got to kick it in gear, or I can't trust you in the postseason. And Lloyd took the challenge, and he struck out Jim Thome, David Justice, and Fred McGriff here in his last couple appearances. 0-2 to McCracken. That's off the edge, 1-2. Cubs have tied the Astros 1-1 in the 7th. Not on a Sosa home run, or we would have heard about it. I mean, last night leaving the ballpark, the cars already around the Bronx had Sosa 66 painted on the back window. Outside, 2-2 to McCracken. Other thing the Yankees have done this year, for those of you not familiar with them, is a combination of guys that hit home runs and steal bases. Even Paul O'Neill has stolen a lot of bases. I say even because Paul's not known as a base stealer. Hit well left field, and Curtis says he's got it, and he puts it away. There are 2 down.
You know, Curtis and Bernie Williams work very well in the outfield. There's a lot more communication than you might think going on in the outfield. Besides, I got it. You know, that one little glance towards the other guy might tell him that, you know, this is my ball. You know, even before you even say anything. And Chad Curtis that time, as Bernie looked over at him, held his glove out as to say, I got it. The ball was kind of drifting back towards left field.
And that's where you might see a lot of Chad Curtis late in the ball game in some of these division series. That pitch to Ledesma inside. Yankees have 6 players with double-figure home runs and stolen bases. The 91 Reds, only other team to do that. And ironically, Paul O'Neill was a member of that team. Ground foul at the plate. 1-1 to Ledesma.
Mendoza in the ball game. He's known for the ground balls. He's got 2 fly ball outs here in the 8th inning. Ledesma, a 12-game hitting streak on the line. He has struck out twice and flied out.
Running fastball up and in for a ball. What a nice late Saturday afternoon crowd. Second to the last day of the season. 41,000 plus at the stadium. Little broken bat looper. Knobloch on the run. Bernie Williams can't get it. Ledesma's going to keep his hitting streak intact. He'll trot into second with a bloop double.
Good try by Knobloch on for the over-the-shoulder catch. Seemed to just stick the glove out there, but the ball falls in. A little comedy at the end of the play, but as Ledesma will move into second base. There it is, another look. I'll tell you what, the Knobloch going back and Shane Spencer and Bernie Williams coming in the other direction. Why not be tentative?
Spencer has now moved over to right field. If you joined us late, yes, he does have a home run. He has hit more home runs in a month than any rookie in Yankee history. He's hit 7. In fact, he leads the ball club this month in home runs. The Yankees have hit 2 today, Spencer's and Tino Martinez, and they lead the majors in home runs since the All-Star break. That pitch is high for a ball.
By the way, Ledesma's streak now at 13 is the longest ever by a double. No, it can't be, because McCracken had an 18-gamer this year already.
That's in for a strike.
And McCracken's streak tied Tommy Davis for the '69 Seattle Pirates as the Pilots as the longest streak by a first-year expansion player.
Just a little low. 2-1. This is the role Mendoza would be called on, just in case the Yankees starters, which we pointed out last inning, will be Wells and Pettit here at the stadium. Then David Cone and Orlando Hernandez, games 3 and 4. Well behind that pitch, and the count level to Bobby Smith, 2-2.
Now I got the Ledesma thing straight. The longest by a right-handed batter, strictly right-handed. McCracken's a switch hitter.
A little qualifier there for the ex-Met. Got him. Not fouled it at the plate. Stays alive. Another downside of the Devil Rays season. We talked about Larry Rothschild building it around pitching, but not only do they have trouble scoring runs, they strike out a lot and they don't walk much. That's a bad combination. And Smith is up there among the leaders in strikeouts. But they can afford to be patient for 3-4 years, get their pitching staff organized. And I shouldn't say 3-4 years. I don't think fans are willing to wait that long anymore. Saw what happened in Florida, and of course the Rockies waiting. Brian O'Nora taking a little extra time because I think that foul tip got a piece of Joe Girardi, and he's waiting for Joe to kind of get his breath back a little bit. That time he got him, and Girardi hung on. Effective inning by Mendoza. 3 outs away from David Cohn's 20th win, and the Yankees would win 113. Back after this.
G.
41,000 plus on hand. We remind you the Yankee baseball is brought to you in part by the new Dodge. See your local Dodge dealer today. Roberto Hernandez, the Devil Rays closer, hard-throwing right-hander, takes over. He's had quite a career coming back from what was a life-threatening situation. Blood clot in the arm back when he was a member of the then California Angels. 26 saves, high earned run average.
Of course, he was part of that deal last year along with Wilson Alvarez that had them going from the White Sox to San Francisco Giants. And when you look back at the deal, everybody thought at first that it really favored the Giants, and it did help them. It did help them in their quest for a division title. But this year, when you look at Bobby Howry and Mike Caruso, who came over from the Giants, 2 young players in that deal. Howry is now the White Sox closer, and Caruso is having a 300 hitting season as a rookie shortstop.
So it might have been a good deal for the White Sox. You see the high walk total. His control has not been good. Right up the middle, and Bernie Williams needed that hit to keep the lead in the American League batting race. So he's 1 for 4 with a leadoff single here in the 8th.
Nothing fancy here. Pitch right down the middle, and Bernie just turns it right back where it came from. Right back through the middle for the base hit.
So he gets congratulations from his teammates as Ricky Leday will go in to run for Bernie Williams. Mo Vaughn 1 for 3 in Boston this afternoon. Was at somewhere around 336, and if Bernie had made an out there, they would have been tied. I think that keeps him ahead going into the last day. Soho's first at bat, and he spanks a single to right. Leday will reach third easily. And the Yankees with a chance to add to their 3-0 lead, have runners at the corners with nobody out.
I tell you what, you leave a pitch out over the plate for Louis Soho early in the count, you're asking for a line drive to the opposite field. There's the pitch. Right down, another one right down the middle. I mean, that is right in his happy zone. Maybe not for power, but certainly to do what he wants to do with the ball, and he lines to the right, sends Leday all the way to third.
He steps to left and hits to right.
Yeah, he kind of opens up the right side of the field by stepping in the bucket and just kind of forcing the ball the other way.
So Leday with speed at third. Soho at first, and Tim Raines will get his first at bat of the afternoon. He'll hit for Chili Davis. Actually, he'll hit for Homer Bush, who went in to run for Chili Davis. That pitch misses for a ball. So Joe Torre making sure he gets everybody in there for an at-bat, chance in the field just to stay active till Tuesday night. That's sliced foul. So it's 1-1 to Raines. Who is the only man to have played for both these Tampa Bay Devil Rays and the Florida Marlins? That's our Aflac trivia question. And the answer is pitcher Tony Saunders, the lefty who was a big part of the Marlins' success last year. Good fastball inside, 2-1.
Saunders got a start in the World Series last year against the Cleveland Indians.
His hero was responsible for shutting the Mets down this afternoon. He was a big Tom Glavine fan. Glavine, Denny Nagel, Kevin Millwood all helped to shut out the New York Mets today 4-0. That pitch fouled straight back 2-2, and the Giants defeated the Rockies Cubs are tied at 1. Sammy Sosa due up in the 8th inning when the Cubs come to bat. Just off the corner, and the count is full to range. Yankees looking for their 113th win, and for our St. Louis audience, they have seen a record broken this year. I really believe that the home run record will be broken again before this single season win mark that the Yankees have established. It's been around for 44 years. Raines draws a walk. Well, we're not covering any of the post-game action on MSG, but after the game we'll be able to. You can watch MSG Network for in-depth Yankee post-game coverage throughout the playoffs and the World Series. You can turn to MSG immediately following every Yankee playoff game, and we'll be there to break it down for you, pitch by pitch, game highlights, a lot of reaction from the locker room. It's the Sports Desk Special Playoff Edition, and it features the Jeep post-game report on MSG Network. And what could be a better situation for the fans that have stuck around here than to see Shane Spencer come to the plate with the bases loaded, nobody out, against hard-throwing Roberto Hernandez. Mike Lowell goes in to pinch run for Raines.
They kind of kidding with Rock, went up there, drew a walk, out of the ball game.
Yeah.
And that's something you don't see very often, somebody running for Tim Raines.
Isn't that the truth? Here he is, the man of the month, man of the week, Shane Spencer. It's the third time since his call-up that he has actually swung and missed a pitch. He has been right on everything.
He was on that one, except the fact that it was out of the strike zone. It was a ball.
Oh, and 2.
Might have chased another one that was a little low. This is some hard sinking stuff. HSS from Roberto Hernandez. He's made his best pitches to Shane Spencer. Best pitches this inning.
Did he check in time? Yes, he did, said Tim Cheetah, the first base umpire. 1 and 2. He's got the fans on their feet. He has 2 grand slams already in his rookie season. That ties Yogi Berra. Yogi also did it, but no Yankee rookie has ever hit 3. Could see some more history. Two and 2. Joe Torre pondering, I'm sure, where Shane Spencer will fit into the postseason plans. Yankees won't see any left-handers if Texas is their opponent. It'll be all right-hand starters. Got it. Spencer down on strikes on what appeared to be a good breaking ball from Hernandez, and that's the first out of the inning.
Well, after all those pitches, you had a feeling that a slider was going to show up somewhere, and maybe it wasn't the best slider, but it was the first one. It was kind of up, but it was way towards the outer half of the plate. And Spencer, who hadn't seen one, swings and misses for strike 3.
But as Spencer strikes out, this at-bat becomes a key at-bat for Scott Brocious. He is sitting on 98 RBIs. And Joe Torre would love to give him enough at-bats to keep the average at 300. It's at 302 right now, and reach the 100 RBI mark. He's already set a career high in RBIs. Blocked by Flaherty. The runners will hold, and it's a ball and a strike to Brocious. Scott had a year with the Oakland A's where he hit 22 home runs, so he probably will not get his career-high home run total. A little easier to hit him in Oakland than it is in Yankee Stadium, and she wants a closer look at this record-setting Yankee team.
He's up there now. He knows exactly how many RBIs he has.
I think he's known for quite a while.
Yeah, well, of course, but now he knows that those guys are out there.
All right. Late on the pitch, 1-2.
Kind of a hanging slider, fouls it off.
Sitting on 98. Soho got a single. Lowell went into pinch run for Tim Raines. And Leday over at third. Yankees have him loaded with just one out. That gets by Flaherty. Not far enough for any of the runners. They all react in time to retreat. Leday thought about it, but Flaherty got enough glove on it to keep it from going to the screen.
Here's another look at it, and might have been a slider that he held on to too long and between the legs of Flaherty, but as he said, he got a piece of it, slowed it down just enough, hit that left shin guard. No advance by the runners.
Foul tip at the plate. 2-2 to Brocious. Well, let's give you a quick update. The Cubs have taken the lead over the Astros 3-1. Giants already won. Mets lost. So Cubs hang on there. It would be the Giants and the Cubs going into the last day with a one-game lead. Sosa was due up in the 8th inning. And if he would have hit a home run, you know we'd have heard about it by now. But the Cubs did score 2, so he may have been a part of that. I think he did. Yep, Tim Cheetah said yes, he did. He tried to hold up, and Hernandez now with the bases loaded, no out situation, has back-to-back strikeouts. He's 1 out away from getting out of it.
I don't know what Larry Rothschild told him, but whatever it is, kind of settled him down, and he's throwing better fastballs with more movement. That one kind of darting in on the hands as Brocie's trying to hold up. This would be more of a definitive angle, and yep, he did go too far for the strikeout.
That'll bring up Joe Girardi. Towards second base. Looks like the Devil Rays are going to get out of it, and they do. So the Yankees get them loaded with nobody out. Can't convert, so they'll take a 3-0 lead to the 9th and try to preserve David Cohn's 20th win. Back after this. We head to the top of the 9th inning. Again, David Cohn looking for his 20th win. 7 brilliant innings of pitching. We remind you tonight, coming up at 10:30 on MSG, Deb Kaufman delivers the latest news, scores, and highlights from the local sports scene on the full 30-minute edition of the National Finance Sports Desk. And then later you can keep informed on the entire world of sports with Fox Sports News. That's tonight at midnight right here on MSG. All the National League wild card races will be updated. Chad Curtis in the game in center field now as Bernie Williams got his base hit, came out of the ball game. Ricky Leday takes over in left. And Joe Torre will go to his bullpen and bring in Mike Stanton to face Fred McGriff. Situational moves here the last few games for Joe Torre, trying to simulate playoff situations as much as he can for his pitchers. And this would be the type of situation it might be for Mike Stanton come Tuesday night, say with Will Clark or Rusty Greer at the plate, or Jim Thome if the Indians don't win tonight and assure themselves the home field advantage. Last report we heard, the Mariners were defeating Texas. Mariano Rivera getting loose. Maybe he'd come in and get an out or two. In fact, I think with David Cohn's 20th win at stake, I think Joe Torre is going to have Stanton against McGriff, and then Rivera will come in and try to save it. Outside, ball 1. Gives you an idea of the stuff David Cone has. Fred McGriff struck out twice against Cone. That's high, 2-0.
Cone with a total of 8 strikeouts in 7 innings and just 4 hits.
Yeah, I think that coming back on the 6th day, the last couple of starts this late in the year, David hasn't pitched 200 innings since 1993. McGriff swings at the 2-0 pitch, fouls it straight back, so it's 2-1. I think that kind of freshened up his arm a bit, because his stuff, you can never tell for sure on television or where we're sitting, but it sure looked as sharp as it's been in a long, long time. In for a strike, 2-2 to McGriff.
Girardi's sitting right on the corner, and that's where the ball is. Low and away on the corner to Fred McGriff. If other pitchers would have done that more often, he wouldn't have 358 homers.
Well, Stanton did it twice in a row. So that's the hat trick for Fred McGriff. Cone got him twice, and Mike Stanton comes back after falling behind 2-0.
Not much you can do about this. This was up a little higher than the other one. Tried to check his swing, but it's on the corner anyway. Look at the target by Girardi. The middle part of his chest protector is right on the outside corner. You can see where the pitch is. Man, sometimes you just go sit down, you know.
So he got his former teammate out. They used to be with the Atlanta Braves together. He did his job. Mariano Rivera coming in to try to get the last 2 outs. Back on MSG after this. As the Yankees prep for the postseason on the Daily News Baseball Playoff Preview. That's tomorrow night at 11 o'clock exclusively right here on MSG. Kenny, in 1996, the signature, the strength of the Yankees was their bullpen, and that's when Mariano Rivera was a setup. He was almost like an everyday player. He'd come in 3-4 days a week, and they had John Wetland at the end of the ball game. But this year's bullpen, stepping it up like they did in 1996, 101 leading after 8 innings. That is remarkable. Something else I'll quickly tell you that's remarkable. Mark McGwire's hit his 68th home run as Rivera throws the fastball into Bubba Trammell, fouled out of play. As you look at the rest of Mariano's numbers.
Well, no team this century has gone through an entire season losing fewer games under these circumstances.
Just another in the long list of records this team has accomplished. And as Paul O'Neill said on our scorecard show, when Al Trotwig told him he was selected our Yankee of the Year, as you look back, that's hit well out in the gap. Curtis looking up, that's off the wall. Trammell is going to have a 1-out double. When this Yankee team looks back at what they've accomplished, regardless, there's the reaction from the crowd going up as the scoreboard indicates Mark McGwire has hit number 68. Takes Bob Davidson off the hook, the second base umpire in the Milwaukee series. That took what appeared to be a home run away from him, calling fan interference.
Well, the fans might be wondering, what was the game that the Yankees lost when they had the lead after 8? It was back on May the 14th against the Texas Rangers when they blew a 5-0 lead.
There's Paul Sorrento, first pitch swinging, strike 1.
The game went into extra innings, and the Yankees eventually lost it to the Rangers.
Yeah, there's no other bullpen with the veterans that the Yankees have. Mike Stanton, Jeff Nelson, and Graham Lloyd, as well as Ramiro Mendoza, who has pitched so effectively to set up Mariano Rivera. And that's a pitch that he's added this year. He got the last out of last night's ball game. You call it a cutter, but it's just a nice hard slider.
Nice and tight on the inner half. The hitter thinks it's a fastball, so he starts the bat, and just as you do, whoop, it's not there.
That was called a hard slider for years. Nowadays they call it a cutter. There's another one, but Sorrento laid off, 1-2. So Mariano in his days as a setup man in '96 was primarily just a fastball pitcher. Now he's been able to add a couple of new wrinkles to make him just as effective. In on the hands, popped up and appears to be playable. Girardi is there, and he makes the grab.
Well, that's generally true. When you get older and wiser, you add a couple of wrinkles.
Good point. I don't think David Cone has added any wrinkles as we look at the second out.
Off the bat, Girardi right away finds out where it is. Watch him get rid of the mask in the other direction. And there's the out. I think there's nothing more embarrassing for a catcher to come back on a foul ball and step on his own mask. So that's why the catcher goes in one direction while the mask is going in the other.
And Rich Butler represents the last hope of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. David Cone hasn't added any wrinkles, but he's added a little pitching ability to go with that good stuff. And he is 1 out away. The Yankees are of David Cone's 20th win. It would be 10 seasons between his 20 game seasons, and that's an all-time record. 0-2.
Passing up the legendary Jim.
Legend in his own mind. Well, we say goodbye to the St. Louis audience. Will be with us for just a bit longer as they can appreciate the Yankee Stadium fans here urging on the Bombers to get their 113th win. Toward third base. This would be a tough play for Brocious. No chance to get the speedy Rich Butler. And that prolongs the inning and will give Miguel Cairo a chance to come to the plate.
Butler kind of a squibbler off the end of the bat and near the bag, and Brocious does the right thing. Just holds on, checks the runner at second just to see if he can get him. But now there's 2 on and 2 out. Butler has 2 hits.
As does Miguel Cairo. Low ball 1. Yankees with their 41,000 plus now have gone over the 2,900,000 mark. Come up a little short of the 3 million total. When the day is finished tomorrow. 2-0 to Cairo. A little speed bump here in the 9th inning, and moving on deck is Mike Kelly for the Devil Rays. That's in for a strike. They have liked what they've seen from the bullpen and their starters in the last week of the season. And Cairo draws a 2-out walk. Not a save situation for Mariano. Stanton got the first out. You have to pitch 1 complete inning with a 3-run lead. Now Jose Cardinal will position the outfielders here as Mike Kelly will come up. You'll see the outfielders move to prevent defense. They want to keep that runner on first from scoring on any hit, so you can see them back up a little bit.
Moving Shane Spencer back in right field a couple of steps.
Mike Kelly, outstanding college player, a Golden Spikes Award winner at Arizona State, the best college player in the nation. Good swing there and fouled it straight back.
Think of some of the players that have actually won that award. It's been some pretty good ones. Phil Nevin won it. Catching for the Angels. Among others.
upstairs, 1-1. There's just not the same concentration, I think, when a relief pitcher comes in a non-save situation. And I think everybody on that bench pulling as hard for this win for David Cohn's 20th, more so than the team's 113th. That's in, and they're one strike away. Tells you the pitch was high for a ball.
Mike Kelly has somewhat of a long swing, so they're trying to tie him up, trying to keep that fastball inside. He had a good swing at that first pitch, which was out over the plate.
Count full again. Mariano having a little trouble finding his release point. Saw him go to his fingers after that pitch as if he's not getting a good grip on the ball. So now 3-2, 2 out, bases loaded, and the runners will get a head start. Lost him. Mariano Rivera has walked in a run. Wow. That might be a record.
Well, something we're certainly not used to seeing. He has a low walk total on the season, but back-to-back walks here, and the Devil Rays are on the scoreboard.
That's going to prompt a trip from Mel Stottlemyre to the mound. I mean, the Yankees just do not see this. Gives up a hit once in a while, but for Mariano to walk in a run, Mel wants to know if something's wrong. It looked like he pointed to that left shoulder. That's usually the telltale sign. He'll go out there and say, hey, you're flying open with that front shoulder, and that's why the ball's going up and in. Drive that front shoulder toward the target. So it's now a 3-1 ball game. Bases are still loaded, and the pesky Quentin McCracken steps in as Nelson and Lloyd loosen in the Yankee pen. Toward third base, Brocious. Off balance throw, got him. Nice play by Scott Brocious. And David Cohn and the Yankees can celebrate. Yankees win it 3-1, win number 113. More importantly for them, David Cohn. What a remarkable comeback after the shoulder surgery. Help from Shane Spencer with another home run. I think Joe Torre just said he'd like to get the lineup card or something from the umpires, maybe a memento for David Cohn. Caps off a remarkable season for the veteran right-hander. Yep, they broke their own record that they set last night. So the Yankees celebrate their 113th win. 7 innings of shutout pitching by David Cohn. A little shaky in the 9th inning, but Mariano Rivera recovered to get the last out and preserve the 3-1 win.
Good play at third because McCracken can pick him up and lay him down going down the line. Scott Brocious, well, he knew he only had one play across the diamond, just in time to get McCracken for the final out. You can see Joe Torre's reaction, and yeah, it's in the bag. Number 113. Yankees win. Score 3-1. Watch McCracken going for all he's worth. The throw will beat him by an eyelash, and he's out of there.
So we say goodnight to our St. Louis audience. Thank you for being with us here on this Saturday afternoon. We'll be back on MSG with all of our post-game coverage. Yankees win it 3-1. We might get a chance to talk to the 20-game winner. Back after this. Saturday afternoon in the Bronx. And the Yankees won it today 3-1, and they got the help from Shane Spencer. Let's take a look at our Dodge drive of the game.
Well, it came in the third inning. Shane Spencer was leading it off. Looked like a changeup from Terrell Wade, and he drives it well beyond the fence in left center field. His 9th home run of the year, and that was our new Dodge drive of the game. That gave the Yankees their first run.
And let's check out the rest of the game summary brought to you by Jeep. David Cohn's 20th win this year, and was he sharp for 7 innings. Set an all-time record now, 10 seasons between his two 20-game seasons. 3 runs, 12 hits, and no errors. Home run also by Tino Martinez, his 28th of the year. And all in all, except for just a little bit of a speed bump there in the 9th inning by Mariano Rivera, it's the first run the bullpen's given up in quite some time, but still a very pleasing day, I think, for Joe Torre.
Yeah, first of all, they got some power from Shane Spencer and Tino Martinez, some good pitching from David Cohn. I think that was paramount right there to see what he would be like. And 8 strikeouts in 7 innings. And as you mentioned, being backed off twice within the past couple of weeks to 6 days of rest, I think that will help him going into the postseason. He looked like he had a booming fastball this afternoon, and also had the good control of all of his breaking pitches, and it looks like he is right on for the postseason.
Yeah, if we, I hope we get a chance to talk to David Cohn down in our studio. If we don't, certainly on our post-game coverage, we will get some comments from him as to whether or not that backing off to the 6th day did help him a great deal. Now, Texas was trailing when we finished our game right here, and if Cleveland wins tonight, that'll mean the Yankees will face the Texas Rangers. It'll be David Wells, and how about Mel Stottlemyre? He's going to be in a position to watch his son Todd pitch against the Yankees.
He's going to be torn because going back to the regular season, that same thing came up, and he was torn that particular day. How about a playoff situation where, of course, he wants the Yankees to win, but I guess he didn't want to get his son roughed up at all.
I think, Kenny, that there's you never know in postseason, but I think the Yankees have to feel good about if they play the Rangers. They got 3 right-hand starters that are very, very similar.
Well, the Yankees have handled just about everybody this year. Their toughest outing was against the Angels, when the only winning record against the Yankees is Anaheim. So I would think they would feel comfortable, because what happens is you can set your lineup and keep it that way for 3 days in a row. You win the first one, you come right back with the same guys, and maybe the next guy's on that 3rd day.
Of course, fans might be disappointed, because I don't think Shane Spencer will be in there against those right-handers. Well, David Cohn, congratulations on win number 20. He's sitting in our studio right now with Al Trautwig. Al?
And David, Jim, and Ken offer their congratulations. And guys, if you want to know if it means anything to win 20 games after a 10-year difference, the hugs in the clubhouse, your face, I think, say it all. Why don't you just tell me what's going through your mind?
Well, it's pretty nerve-wracking at the end there, but it's just incredible. I mean, I started out the year, I was kind of joking about being the 5th starter and come full circle. And, you know, the best hug of the day was from Girardi, from Joe,
And
my
he
catcher.
handed you the ball, didn't he?
Handed me the ball, yeah.
You have a special bond with him, don't you? I mean, that's the one that really counts, right?
Yeah, he cares. You know, he wanted it probably as much as I did today. So, you know, he's the one that's really got me through a lot of tough times this year.
David, what about this do you think, you know, makes it edgy for you, gets the emotions in you? Is it the fact that it's been 10 years? Is it the surgery? Is it the contemplating that you don't know how much time is left? Is it that it was a great season, or is it just all that stuff?
It's a combination of all of them, but certainly what I've been through the last 2 years, going through the aneurysm and going through shoulder surgery again last year, and not knowing if I was going to be ready this year. People were talking about May or June, and to be ready on time this year was my first goal, and to stay healthy the entire year was my second. And you know, I never thought 20 wins would be part of the equation, but you know, when it came today and when I got into that 9th inning, I didn't think I'd react this way, but it meant a lot.
Well, they say when you're emotional, all you have to do is think about baseball to get your mind off of it. So why don't we do that? We've got some pitches in, man. It looked as though everything you wanted to throw today, you were able to throw.
Yeah, we really got it working early. Joe did a great job of framing some pitches there and getting me some calls. And, you know, even when I shake off Joe, he seems to go right to the sign I want to throw. And there's a real chemistry there. And, you know, I was really appreciative to him. I think, you know, I can't reiterate just when he came in and gave me the ball after the game and giving him a hug. He's the guy that's been there for me all year.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, Mariano made it a bit different there at the end to make it just a little bit more edgy for you. But bigger picture, this is about making sure you're ready for the first round and that start in Game 3. Are you totally where you want to be?
Yeah, I feel good about today. I think, you know, I've kind of been inconsistent lately through August and even into September, even though I had a pretty good game against Pedro in Boston. But It's a nice feeling to finish on a good note. You know, I've had 6 days rest going into today, or 7 days rather, and I'll have a full 6 days going into my third start.
Now, there was one moment early in the ball game when the entire stadium went, "Oh no!" I mean, you took that ground ball off your chest. What happened? Did it just take the wind out of you?
Yeah, it really did. It was a pretty good shot, one hopper, and yeah, it really knocked the wind out of me immediately. And you know, I had trouble breathing right there. And when you get hit in the ribs, you kind of worry a little bit. You might get a cracked rib, and then that could be devastating. But fortunately, it wasn't. It was just tough to get my breath right there.
So no problem after that?
No, I really didn't feel it the rest of the day. I'm sure I'll feel it tomorrow,
right.
But for the most part, you know, I came out okay.
How about a statement about how the team is playing? Because I think that the team overall looks extremely sharp. I mean, it's amazing what that one night in Tampa and that meeting with Joe Torre after the game did for this team.
Well, he let us know, and Joe rarely displays that kind of emotion, but when he did, I think he got our attention, and it was embarrassing. I think he was embarrassed, and you know, it's one thing to kind of rest some starters and maybe kick it down a gear, but it's another thing to go out there and not play well and get embarrassed.
10 years between 20 games, you now break the record that Jim Cott held. He did it after 8, and he said that it meant a lot to him because people in baseball thought he may be done. He thought he may be done, and then he said to everybody, "Hey, I'm not finished yet." You send out a pretty big statement with 20 wins, don't you?
Yeah, I guess you do. I mean, you know, I went into this day sort of thinking, well, I'm not going to let this season diminish if I don't get 20. I mean, I had 19 wins, but when you get that 20th, it does make a statement. You know, I think people kind of wrote me off a little bit earlier this year and wondering, you know, if I could come back. So it's very gratifying right now.
Well, people who know David Cone care about him an awful lot, so a hearty congratulations to you. Thanks, for 20 wins. Well earned this season, and what an amazing season. He wasn't supposed to be ready until May. He started the home opener here at Yankee Stadium and thus began a 20-win season. The Yankees win it. They're up to 113. Deb Kaufman's at the Garden.
Final score, the Yankees win it 3-1. David Cone with his 20th win. Coming up next, our Cone's 20th win. He certainly was looking for it. Happy day for the fans. More than 41,000 in attendance today. An effective 7 innings of work. And Shane Spencer rubbing that good luck bat added to it with a home run. For Eddie Caginelli and Leon Schweier, from our partner Ken Singleton, our entire crew, it's Jim Cott saying so long from the stadium. Thanks for being with us on David Cone's memorable 20th win. Good everyone. Postgame coming up next.
Shane Spencer is at 9, but the emotional number of the day is the 20 next to the name of David Cone. The Yankees hang on. Mariano Rivera, a little rocky in the 9th, but good enough they were to take number 113 in the season of 1998. The winningest American League team in history goes one more. 3-1 the final score here in the Bronx, better than 40,000. Nighttime now as this crowd saw a little bit of everything. If you came to Yankee Stadium today and you were a Yankee fan, you thought, boy, wouldn't it be really great if Shane Spencer could somehow keep doing his thing? And maybe one of the Yankee mainstays, like a Tino Martinez, well, if he did something great, that'd be neat too. And then David Cone, who's been such a huge part of sports in New York for such a long time. Man, for his season, if he could somehow... Cone was. Check him out against Fred McGriff. I don't think so. How about Paul Sorrento to end the 2nd inning? Not this time. It curls over the outside corner. Bottom of the 3rd. It was time for the man. Oh, yeah, he got all of it. Into the Tampa Bay Devil Rays bullpen. His 9th, Shane Spencer, giving the Yankees the early lead at 1-0. Bottom of the 4th. It's Tino's turn. His 28th round trip of the season. He crushed that ball, 2-0 Yankees, so that's your game-winning deciding run right there. Good Yankees defense here, a little luck too. Runner at 3rd, little bloop to Knobloch. They're going to try to nail the runner. Girardi, so smart, fundamentally perfect to Brocious just at the right time. That prevents what should have been a run. Bottom of the 5th, Derek Jeter grounds a double down the line in left field. Joe Girardi had a hit before that, so he comes around to score, and it's 3-0. Now we go back to David Cone, still strong in the 7th inning, striking out Rich Butler on a splitter. That was it for David Cone. Handshakes then, hugs later in the Yankee clubhouse as the Yankees came off the field. Mariano Rivera finally got this one to end, but it took a little special play, like a gold glove special, from Scott Brocious to end the ball game. That after Mariano Rivera had walked in a run with the bases loaded. Most unusual. A huge day, speaking of unusual, for Mark McGwire. He has hit number 67 and 68, plus the Mets highlights, which weren't so happy. Deb Kaufman will have those. folks. Here on the Jeep Post-Game Report, where the Yankees have taken the Tampa Bay Devil Rays 3-1. David Cone is 20-7. It's been 10 years since he won 20. Quite an achievement, as you saw. He was very emotional. It'll be interesting to hear what the manager of the Yankees has to say. His team just keeps on winning. And that's perfect for the postseason right around the corner. Here's Mike McKay.
Was that a little nerve-wracking in the ninth inning?
Yeah, it was. I mean, you know, you hate to let that 20th victory get away when you're so close to it. You know, Mo had good stuff. The only thing, you know, walking Kelly was the only thing. Otherwise, you know, I thought he was fine.
Why would he? I mean, I've never seen him walking a guy. I don't know if he's ever done it. Why was he wild?
Well, I think he just tried to overthrow. I think, you know, it's funny when you're coming in for, you know, winning the game is more important for David Cone than it is for our record. You know, I think sometimes those types of things put more pressure on you than when you're out there just trying to win for the team.
Joe, when you're fiddling with your rotation in the winter, do you think David Cone even has a chance at 20 coming off surgery?
Oh, hell no. I mean, you don't figure he's going to really be available on a regular basis that early for us, and you know, for him to accomplish what he did this year, I think it's remarkable.
Shane Spencer, another home run. Is he playing his way into a starting role in the playoffs?
Well, we have a little ways to go before we make that decision, but I know one thing, that he's, you know, he's doing a nice job, and he seems to have a way about him that, you know, he knows what he's doing.
And then Tim Raines pinch hits. How did he come out of that? He walked, but
he's fine. Tim Raines, you know, it bothers him really doing the off stuff. You know, if he just jogs around and stuff, but when he runs hard, it doesn't bother him, and he hits, it doesn't bother him. I think it was basically that he was more concerned that it was more than it was. So, you know, I think he's assured now that, you know, he can't hurt himself, and I think we're over the hump on that.
Time now for the Clubhouse Report. Tickets early in the afternoon outside the stadium. Boy, you had to see David Cone. You had to see David Cone. I mean, it was so great to see an athlete who cared so much, and it really obviously meant something special. And he said his dad was here, so a great day for him.
You know, what was really weird is that after he lost the last two games, or didn't get the victory in the last two games, there was some talk about he might not get enough innings to get a win on this game, according to how Joe Torre spaced out the rotation for the playoffs. And, you know, after that last game, he said, I don't deserve it. I've had my chance, and if I don't get the 20th win, I have nobody to blame but myself. And the funny thing is his teammates are blaming themselves because they didn't feel they've scored enough runs for him, and they cost him the Cy Young Award. And I know that Graham Lloyd is really upset with himself because he let a tying run in a game that Cone would have gotten the win. So this is a team that loves David Cone. They rally around him. He is like the lightning rod in that clubhouse. And it's funny because the last time he won 20 games, 1988 with the Mets, he was a little bit of a wild child, and now he is the elder statesman in that clubhouse, and everybody looks up to him.
Now, there were a lot of Yankees who were already in the clubhouse, so they were all watching the end of the game, which was pretty wild, actually. And Bernie Williams had gotten a hit just prior to that, so Tino came out, and as Bernie was going to the weight room to do his post-game workout in the ninth inning, Tino came out and said, way to go, Bernie. You know, so they're aware of Cone, they're aware of everything that's on the line, the record they became very well aware of, and they're aware of Bernie chasing tomorrow Mo Vaughn.
Yeah, Bernie's chasing Mo Vaughn. They would love to have Scott Brosius stay over 300 and get over 100 RBIs. He needs 2 more for that. Bernie Williams would also like to get 4 more ribbies to have 100 RBIs in 2 straight years where he's missed 30 games. That would be big for him as well. And they really want to see Raines and they want to see Strawberry play a full game, but nobody knows exactly who the Devil Rays are going to start tomorrow. They would hope that it's not a left-hander.
Now, we know the matchups in the pitching rotations, and when David Cone starts, Joe Girardi will be behind the plate. Today, he was involved in the offense, and as David Cone said, gave him the most important hug in that Yankee clubhouse. Here's Mike's conversation with him.
How much better and what did he do different this game than he had the previous 2 where he didn't seem like he was that sharp?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he relaxed a little bit more today. I think he put a lot of pressure on himself the last couple of times out. And, he hit all his spots. I mean, he made very few mistakes today, and even some of the hits they got were good pitches.
I always wondered, Joe, obviously the 20th win is very important for Cone. You guys have clinched everything, and you head to the playoffs on Tuesday. The 20th win, is it important for the other guys as well for Coney to get it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, we haven't scored a lot of runs those last few starts, and it's been frustrating, you know. He has a chance to win Cy Young, and it's great for him. I mean, he's a leader in this clubhouse, and you know, I think the guys in this room wanted to do everything they could to get his 20th win, and I think that's why you saw us make some mistakes on the bases. We were a little bit too aggressive.
How strange was it to see?
All right, we will get back here to the Jeep post-game report at Yankee Stadium, and we'll talk about who's pitching when and the matchups with the Texas Rangers That'll be Tuesday night here in the Bronx. Yankees 3, Devil Rays 1. Back after this on MSG. We're back on the G postgame report here on MSG. The Yankees hearing big roars today in the stadium for their 113th win. And Mike, before today's game, Joe Torre, and while I think everybody had an idea what it was going to be, said how his rotation would be one way. And then during the game, we found out how the Texas Rangers had stacked their rotation. So game one, it's going to be David Wells against
Todd Stottlemyre.
Right.
But you know what's shocking to me? I think the Yankee rotation was not a surprise. We pretty much guessed that this is the way it would be. Wells, Pettit, Cone, and then Hernandez. But I cannot believe the Texas Rangers said, well, forget about beating out the Indians. We'll take on the Yankees as long as we have our pitching set up. Stottlemyre was supposed to start today, and they started the left-hander out of the bullpen, Eric Gunderson. I cannot believe that they'd rather play the Yankees and not have the home field advantage than play the Red Sox with 3 games in Texas. It doesn't make sense.
Unless you think that in a short series you can do something that you might not do in a longer series. Because in a longer series, usually the better team wins out.
That's a true story, but you'd also want the 3 games at home. I think that's more important than worry about the shorter series. You can also do that same short series thing against the Red Sox, and you have 3 games at home. So it really doesn't make sense why it did it that way, and I think the matchups work out great for the Yankees. I think David Wells, second game is going to be Pettit against Telling. The third game is going to be David Cone against Aaron Seeley, and then Hernandez against Burkett.
Right.
So I think those are pretty fair matchups for the Yankees. They don't win the series, they don't win the series. Didn't mean it means that they didn't get any hits, but I think the Yankees are set up pretty good, and I'm really surprised the way the Rangers did it. And that's not a Johnny Oates decision. That's got to be an organizational decision. You don't sit down and go, we're not going to start Stottlemyre today. You know, you've got to have it sit down with the Doug Melvin, the GM, and the owner, and they decided we'll take on the Yankees.
All right, Tuesday night when the game is over, click on MSG, and we'll have all the usual post-game coverage you've become accustomed to. We'll hear from the manager, we'll hear from players, Mike will analyze, and I'll do some stuff too. It's the New York City Marriott's Yankee scorecard tomorrow at 1. Yankees Devil Rays in the final game of the 1998 regular season. Deb Kaufman has the National Finance Sports Desk at 10:30 tonight. Mike, are you finally on?
No.
Oh.
Tomorrow, though.
What's up with these guys in Hollywood? Coming up next, it's Metro Stars at New England. They've got a new coach just before the playoffs. Most interesting. Smart play by Joe Girardi. Scott Brocious preventing an early run, but this day belonged to David Cone. After 10 years of not winning 20, he's got it, and it meant a lot. Eddie Cacinelli produced it. Leon Schweier directed it. Andrew Braun had the replays, and Bob Luani had the graphics.